So I think I've gone pretty in depth about Donald Trump and the Conservative Party's vast conspiracy to deprive the American people of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This vast conspiracy now manifests itself today in the form of Christy Nom trying to basically stifle and pause funding to Texas in the wake of a flooding that's killed 150 plus people. That's the new depth of depravity that MAGA has reached. Trump and his minions have lowered themselves to this new low. There's always a new low, but this is their most recent low. Let's read this shit. Let's see what's going on.
And about the federal response. And CNN has learned that the response from FEMA was actually slowed by efforts to constrain federal spending. The Homeland Security Secretary, Christy Nom, oversees FEMA, and she recently put in place a sweeping rule that every contract and grant over $100,000 requires her personal sign-off before any of those funds can be released. Officials at FEMA have told CNN that, in essence, that order has stripped the agency of much of its autonomy at the very moment that its help is needed the most.
What Christy Nom is doing is absolutely stupid in any institution. Take the military, for example. In the military, chain of command is, of course, chain of command. It's direct. It goes up. However, NCOs and junior officers usually are in the field with the troops, and they make orders in the event of changes or anything that goes on the battlefield at any given moment. Say you're getting shot at. You don't fucking call in to the fucking general to, what do we do? No, the junior officers, your lieutenant, your company commander, even down to your lowest NCOs are all making decisions in that moment to decide what's the next step in the wake of this problem we have right now. If the general had to sign off on and give the green light for every single change in operation, the military wouldn't be able to function. This is part of the reason why America's military is superior to militaries of other countries, is our chain of command is not hampered and hemmed up by one person making every single decision at every given time, because no one person can effectively do so given the high-paced nature of what the military does, which is warfare. FEMA is a bit similar to this. FEMA does not have time for this nonsense and this foolishness. They need to be able to allocate funds immediately, dispatch teams immediately. Do you want to know how long it took Christy Nom to release teams meant to go out for this flooding? Do you want to know how long it took? I'll tell you how long it took. Here's how bad Christy Nom's behavior has been. Here's how much damage she's done. For FEMA, where disaster response costs routinely soar into the billions as the agency contracts with on-the-ground crews, officials say that the threshold is essentially pennies, requiring sign-off for relatively small expenditures. In essence, they say the order has stripped the agency of much of its autonomy at the very moment its help is needed most. We were operating under a clear set of guidance. Lean forward, be prepared, anticipate what the state needs, and be ready to deliver it, a longtime FEMA official told CNN. That is not as clear of an intent for us at the moment. For example, as central Texas towns were submerged in rising waters, FEMA officials realized they couldn't pre-position urban search and rescue crews from a network of teams stationed regionally across the country. Y'all want to know why they couldn't do so? In the past, FEMA would have swiftly staged these teams, which are specifically trained for situations including catastrophic floods, closer to a disaster zone in anticipation of urgent requests, multiple agency sources told CNN. But even as Texas rescue crews raced to save lives, FEMA officials realized they needed Noem's approval before sending those additional assets. Noem didn't authorize FEMA's deployment of urban search and rescue teams until Monday, more than 72 hours after the flooding began, multiple sources told CNN. She's got blood on her hands. Donald Trump has blood on his hands, but we already knew that. Christy Nom is a demonic animal. What kind of person engages in this kind of behavior? In the wake of this disaster, by the way, Christy Nom was she literally came out and said, oh, by the way, I think FEMA should be cut. You fucking animal. People are dying, and out of your mouth is, oh, the funding that should go to them should really be cut up in pieces, shouldn't it? These people are fucking psychotic. They are psychotic. Imagine watching, every time I see the news, it's someone else's child swept away by the flood. Someone else's child is dead. Christy Nom is watching all of this. And the first thing she says is, we should really cut FEMA. Just because you're used to killing innocent creatures doesn't mean the rest of us are, Christy. Fucking crazy people. Insane. To give y'all an idea of how insane this is, FEMA has access to billions and billions and billions. I'm sure she'd understand it if I said it like that. Billions and billions of dollars. $100,000 is chump change for FEMA. She is requiring FEMA to send pennies in the grand scheme of things, in context to how much money the federal government actually has, specifically allocated to FEMA. $100,000 is pennies. She chooses to turn that into some incredibly important number, incredibly important threshold of money. And in order for anyone to receive any form of aid, that paperwork must come to my desk before I sign off on it. $100,000? Gotta come to my desk first. Why do you think she's doing this? I will tell you why the demon is doing this. Christy Nom, the dog deleter, is doing this because Donald Trump and his minions, the Conservative Party, the Heritage Foundation, the Federalist Society, all of these demonic animals, I know I sound like Alex Jones right now, the Bilderbergs, but it's the truth. This vast conspiracy, they are determined to convince you that your government isn't for you. It doesn't belong to you. It belongs to them. It's their money. And their money is also their money. You know how the red pillars say, oh, women say, a man's money is my money and my money is my money. Red pillars seem to be able to understand that when it comes to attacking women. But when the government, the actual MAGA government, is literally telling you to your face, your tax dollars can pay for my health care, my family's health care, my trip to Greece, my trip to Cancun, but fuck your family. Now all of a sudden the conservatives, I can't see it. I don't know what's going on. This is what we call pussies, chat. Pussies, okay? Pussies. Donald Trump, when Biden was still in office, in the wake of the hurricanes that hit Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina, what did Donald Trump do? He came out and said, Biden hasn't spoke to any of the governors. It's so sad. They're only giving people $50. Could you believe it? $50. All of that was a lie. All of the governors came out. They didn't directly say Trump was lying because they know that when Trump lies, if you directly come out against his lies, his base loses their minds and accuse you of being the liar. So all of them very carefully said, well, actually, no, one of them actually did go band for band with Trump. But these governors came out and said, we've been speaking to Biden. We've spoken to Biden. He's called us. We've missed each other's calls back and forth, but we've been calling one another as this has been going on. Like, we've been in contact as it's happening. Trump doesn't mind lying about this. And guess how it spiraled? It spiraled so far that one of his supporters attacked FEMA workers because he believed FEMA was anti-Trump. He believed FEMA was holding itself back because the hurricane hit pro-Trump areas of the country. This wasn't true, though. FEMA was on top of things, but this Trump supporter allowed his Lord and Savior to fool him. Okay, so he crashes out. FEMA's like, okay, we done had a nigga crash out on us, try to kill us. So here's what we're going to do. A FEMA worker, a rogue FEMA worker decides, you know what? We're just not going to go to any houses with Trump signs. Now, obviously, that's wrong. You're not supposed to do that. But do you notice how that went viral? But everything Trump did to cause that domino effect is completely ignored. These people are psychotic. Psychotic. Trump literally puts a battery in their back, makes them attack us, and then when we are like, bro, like, we can't deal with this shit, it's like, oh, how dare you? No, turn around. Look at the nigga fucking puppeteering you. God. That's all this is. Christy Nom is trying to hamper FEMA's response to develop domestic hatred toward FEMA. She's trying to make people hate FEMA. That's all this is about. They're trying to create a lack of trust in the federal government's ability to respond to disasters. That's what she's trying to do. The problem is she doesn't realize it's 2025. We know it's you, Christy. We know it's you. In the wake of the disaster, you came to Texas and then just slurped up Donald Trump with your plastic lips for like 5 minutes straight. She sat there. Trump loves Texas. He loves you so much. You're so amazing. Trump loves you. Oh my God. Can you talk about the dead people yet? My God. Trump is a billionaire. He's alive. He's a fraud. We don't need to hear about him. Can we talk about the people getting swept away by floods right now? She spends 5 minutes just going Trump, 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 Trump. You want to know why? Because she needed to soften the blow. Number one, because Trump had spent the whole campaign talking about how he hated FEMA. So she needed to try to be like, guys, no. Trump loves you. He loves Texas. And also she was trying to soften the blow for what was to come. Because in the wake of Texas being absolutely obliterated by this flood, do you know what she does and comes out and says? She says, actually, we should be cutting FEMA right about now. Imagine seeing people's children being swept away. Every time I look up, chat, on the news, it's little girls dead. Pictures of people's kids dead, swept away. Dead. And you know what she says? She says, oh, well, I think we should be cutting FEMA right now. These people are soulless, demonic animals. They're demonic, soulless animals. Look at Donald Trump's starting five. Kash Patel, he's a crackhead, googly-eyed weirdo. Don't you think if I had the Epstein files and videos I'd show you? Don't you trust me? Crazy people. Pete Hegseth is a drunk. Pete Hegseth is a bum. Okay, Stephen Miller is a racist who forgot he's Jewish. Tulsi Gabbard is a spy for Putin. I mean, who else is in this line? Marjorie Taylor Greene is just a grade A meat rider. Pam Bondi is a stooge if I've ever seen one. And Christy Nom is a dog assassin. She's a dog deleter. Bro, his starting five is crazy. That was probably more than five, but I don't know. I forgot. I'm not even paying attention to the count, but this nigga's lineup is crazy. Trump's lineup is crazy. Crazy lineup. Crazy starting five. Ref, get in there. Do something. Look at these niggas. Bro, look at Trump's starting five. This is not a serious administration. It is a regime. It is a regime. I give it 6 months before Trump claims, I'm a Marine now. I'm a Marine. Oorah. I'm a Marine. From the halls of Mar-a-Lago. I'm telling you, he's going to start being a Marine soon. We're heading into a tin pot fucking dictator downward spiral, bro. This fucking dog deleter has the audacity to hop on social media in the wake of people's children drowning to death and say, I think we should really cut FEMA, fixing her fucking crazy ass fucking Capri Sun built face. All that Capri Sun plastic up and everything about some, we should really cut FEMA. Shut the fuck up. And all the bitch-made right-wing political commentators who made this happen, all the comedians, all the commentators, all the podcasters trying to slowly inch their way toward admitting the truth. They're still struggling to admit that Donald Trump is probably in the Epstein files. They can't bring themselves to do that just yet. We gotta wait for everyone else to think it before we do. Pussies. Pussy. Here we have Christy Nom literally discussing cutting funding in the wake of people's children dying. Conservatives are evil. Didn't know, now you know now. It's the facts, my G. The dog deleter is in charge of people's... Imagine a bitch who executed a dog. A nigga who executed her dog is deciding life and death for like thousands of Americans in the zone of the flooding. It is what it is.